Hello viewers, today we have with us a very special guest, Anjan Choudhury Sir. So it's been a while that I wanted to have a discussion with Anjan Sir, and it's like I am manifesting things around, and it's a result of my manifestation that Sir is here with me, and today we are going to have an amazing discussion with Anjan Sir. So I would like to introduce Anjan Sir. So Anjan Choudhury Sir is the founder of Skillfinity. He is also an empaneled senior trainer at Dibrugarh University, Assam Downtown University, Tejpur University, and at the Assam Administrative Staff College. So Anjan Sir is a faculty development trainer, and today it's a great day for us because we have with us Anjan Choudhury Sir, and we are going to have a long and a fruitful discussion on the education scenario of the state. So welcome Anjan Sir.
Thank
welcome
you so much,
to this
Thank you very
session
much.
today.
Thank you.
Sir, like I have already said, it's been a dream that I wanted to sit with you and have a discussion
Thank you so much.
with you, because I have known you and I have seen that you have been traveling all around, and you have been having a lot of experiences training and mentoring teachers and educators, sir. So sir, I would like to know a little bit about your experience into this domain of training and mentoring teachers and educators.
Well, that's a very, very introspective question, and I would not be able to explain a couplet. How do I do it? But yes, when you talk about experience of training teachers, it's wonderful, because at one point of time when we started training, way back many, many years ago, I thought teachers are a group of people who almost knows everything in this earth. But later I realized there are some things that teachers also needs to get connected with. Now, when we talk of teachers of higher education, or we come back to teachers of school education, the paraphernalia is very, very different, because it's not the same way how it works. Now, gradually, I started liking more the higher education concept, because it's very interesting when you go with the NAC, the DHE guidelines, and the way of how my qualification into soft skills could connect. That's one reason I started. I was introduced in the beginning by the HRDC team of Guwahati University, and thereafter the vivid components of training opened up in higher education. And if you ask me regarding how the experience was, that cannot be explained. It's a mixed bag. But yes, one thing today I can say, after around a few thousand workshops that I have done with teachers, that teachers needs hand holding. It's very important that we cannot leave teachers just the way how classroom should be deciphered. It's there has to be a calculated way of how things needs to be done. I think mentoring and training is very, very required. That much I can say.
Yes,
we can't be very independently letting things go, because at one point of a time, many, many years ago, teachers used to come to the class, do the class and go away. But today the scenario has changed. It's become more corporatized. I think hand-holding is required. I don't say mentoring, I don't say training, but teachers needs to be hand-holded. That's for sure.
Thank you, sir, for the experiences that you have shared. Sir, if I ask you, what patterns have you observed over the years of training in the strength and struggles that educators of today's generation face?
Today, see, what happened was, at one point of a time when we did not have computers, IT was not there, and this is a challenge which has come today. I'm sure the kind of teachers we came across, we had the world's best teachers in our life. But you bring them today to teach the present generation students, they will not be able, it's a big challenge for them. They'll not be able to do it. Why blame them? Let's talk about us. We never knew what Zoom was. We never knew what Cisco WebEx was. We never knew, to be very honest, when the first day people from IIT called me up and said, "Sir, we are going to start online classes." I said, "How do we do online classes?" They said, "In a laptop." I said, "But then how? Who should I teach in the laptop?" They said, "Sir, you take in Google Meet, Zoom and WebEx, Cisco WebEx." I said, "From where?" They said, "From Play Store." I said, "GS Store to sob dukan bondo. Play Store will also be closed." That was our concept, as at this age as well, we did not know. But then when COVID gave us this mesmerizing avenue of connecting people across the globe from one particular place, we became equipped. So I think challenges are one part based on which we learn. But present generation teachers, what I see, and I strongly should say with due apology to all the veteran teachers around, that we are somehow lagging behind IT skills. Hand holding of IT skills has to be there. When I speak of IT skills, I don't mean internet and I don't mean Google, and I absolutely do not mean chat GPT, which, somehow or the other it restricts the creative skills of students. But the way how hand-holding of IT skills can make a teacher much more competent in classroom delivery, this should be a tact the teacher should learn. This is what I think I can attribute out. Because there's a very boring topics. Let's talk of history, or let's talk of political science, or let's talk of mathematics. The teacher understands it's a boring subject. The child also understands it's a boring subject. Now, to make it interesting, IT bails you out. PowerPoint presentations, 3D animations. There are a lot of things which has come that we can absolutely do it. Every time we cannot be blaming the government, or every time we cannot be blaming the infrastructure of a particular institution. So once we do it, so the delivery becomes fantastic. I think that's where the hand holding is required to be very, very strong enough.
True, sir. This is definitely the need of the hour, because we as teachers, we do face this struggle of, not knowing the things very well.
Correct.
Because we from today's generation, even we struggle with those sort of things. So I personally did. So thank you so much, sir, for highlighting.
Shawan, I'll tell you one more thing. Supposedly we are talking about a smart board. Now, smart board has also features that if today's classes, the classwork that I have done or the board work I have done, that remains stored even after 6 months or even after a year's time, or any audit comes in, you can go back to that memory and check back. So these are certain things which many senior teachers are a little unaware of. So I think that hand holding has to be there. People are coming up, people are growing up, but then there's far more that we have to handhold them. That is for sure, I have to tell you.
True, sir. Very true. So, sir, at BoostABrain Academy, what we focus is on not just the UGC NET preparation, but we do focus on something more than that. So, sir, what do you think? What kind of mindset should these students have even before, getting into the field of academics?
The field of academics is not challenging. The field of academics is very, very creative. I'll tell you what happens here. There's a concept called once you crack down the UGC net and a sanction post comes in and a lifetime settlement happens. This is the employment side. But let's talk about the creative perspective of classroom delivery. And I keep telling all my teachers, educators around wherever I go, in a classroom of 50 students, you're not teaching 50 students, you're handling 50 generations. The 50 generations takes out the informations from you. So I think the first thing that all educators, see, we all have two kinds of mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Fixed mindset is there within all of us. If you go through psychology, there's called tabula rasa. So every time you come across experiences, with the experiences, you get cognitive skills and you form a decision. This is right and this is wrong. But from there, I think from the fixed mindset, educators who are aspiring to become educators in the future, ensuing days ahead, they should be into the growth mindset. The growth mindset speaks about hindrances, challenges, and a lot of learning. Because you see, once a aspirant cracks down a UGC net, the system we will perhaps talk back later. So you are at par. The teaching mind is existent, the research mind is existent, so that you qualify. But the problem is, how do you teach a particular child? That nobody teaches you. Maximum of the aspirants who comes down for UGC net might not be of the B.Ed backup or the M.Ed backup. They would not know the taxonomical ways, the Bloom's taxonomy and other ways of lesson planning and all. It's not there. So I think a lot amount of learning of the growth mindset should be there. BoostABrains or whoever comes down for training UGC net aspirants, one thing should be reinforced within brains. They should be of the growth mindset. The growth mindset speaks about the intense desire to not only teach a subject, but then to reform 360 degree of a particular youngster. The time is very less, because if you come across a UG undergraduate course, we have only 6 semesters, and within 6 semesters you have NAC guidelines to follow. Blended mode NAC has come up now. The 10 vertical mode of the hybrid model has come up. A lot amount of issues has come up, which compels you to do not documentation, but then to reform a child's brain and to bring out prudent and powerful people in the society. I think that's what a teacher of higher education requires to put in the mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So these are the words, sir, I was waiting to listen from you, actually, sir. So my purpose behind starting with this podcast series is that UGC NET is not only about qualifying the exam, right, sir?
Correct.
It's after that what we do, because qualifying the exam is comparatively easier than just going into the
Absolutely.
academic
Absolutely.
scenario and
Absolutely.
teaching.
Absolutely.
So that's where, sir, I keep on focusing. I just tell my students, because we have teaching aptitude as a unit where we have lot of things that they need to apply, sir. So that's very great to listen.
Because once a person finishes his qualifications, he gets an employment, but he does not know how to behave with the governing body members. He doesn't know how to behave with the principal. He doesn't know how to have a rapport with the child. He is not accepted in the education system. And I should tell you that if there is a overcrowded classroom of a teacher, does not always mean he is a wonderful and a prolific teacher. It could be because of the reasons of the attendances percentage that students overcrowds. So you have to realize the art of becoming powerful teacher. That's by a growth mindset that I should tell.
Very, very, very true, sir, and I surely agree. So my next question to you is, so what are the most essential qualities that you think specifically we want to discuss a bit on the qualities of a teacher that will help the teacher to connect with the student, to build the rapport with the student in this very fast and tech driven scenario, sir?
See, ma'am, I'll tell you. Whenever we talk of NAC, I'm sure you understand the National Accreditation Assessment Council. They keep talking about few things significantly that a teacher should go through in their training programs. One is called capacity building. Now, many of the concepts does not understand what is capacity building. Capacity building is not public speaking or personality development. NAC has clearly demarcated a teacher should be very well versed and well trained in life skills, capacity building, personality development, soft skills and language proficiency. A teacher in mathematics or in physics or in economics needs to know how to speak in English, because these are official languages which has been established. So I come from the department of whatever department, and I don't need to know English well. That cannot be a bailout today, because now you have to write documents in English. NAC does not take up and upload any documents which is not in English. You cannot write a Hindi document and upload in a DVV process. That is why I would want to put across that a teacher's first and prior skills in training should be his hands-over experience on life skills. The teacher should know how to monitor livelihood skills, learning skills, technical skills, adolescent handling, pedagogical approaches. Otherwise, how will he actually take a class? And see, when you talk about adolescence, there are 3 stages. Now, college education speaks about the late stage adolescence, which is the most dangerous stage. Adolescent cells are at the apex. Now, a teacher needs to know life skills processes, have empathetic skills, creative thinking, critical thinking, analytical thinking, communication skills, verbal communication, non-verbal communication. It has to be there. I go down to trainings now also where I see senior teachers who would just be retiring within a year or 2. They take their legs in front of you, they put their hands at the back, and they sit almost as if they are sitting inside their bedrooms. They do not know. We have to learn it. Gone are the days when teachers used to say my subject is more important. No, today you have comparative parameters who are much more stronger, and where comparison would come and students would say that teacher is much more better than this teacher, so you fail. Veteran teachers has a huge competition now, because the new age generation teachers who goes now, they're much more smarter, they're much more vibrant, they're much more dynamic, irrespective of the fact that a veteran teacher has got years and years of experience. But that is not counted because of the way how the youngster catches hold of the student's brain. Chalo ji class no karo, we'll go outside and have fun. He'll take to the cafeteria and he will sit in the canteen and make presentation happens there. Unlike, a veteran professor who might not want to do it. So things has drastically changed. I think this is one thing that teachers should know is life skills. The next most important thing a teacher should be very, very capable of is exorbitant good communication skills. Communication skills is not a craft, it's not an art. Communication skills is speaking your heart out using a correct vocabulary. If a little bit of I don't say training, if a little bit of self-learning, if a little bit of self-realization happens, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I'm not talking of public speaking. I'm talking of classroom delivery. See, in classes, many of the teachers now also, we come from generations where teachers were very upset with us and they would say, if you're not interested in my class, please get out. And we used to be seated thinking that Aji to kham dhulai. But today you say the same dialogue, the students will walk out in front of you. And outside they'll gherao you and they'll ask you, who are you to take me out of the class? You have deprived me of my basic fundamental rights. That is called right to education. It's a chaos. Law is students friendly, so we have to be very careful about how to handhold children very, very correctly. The third most important quality that a teacher should require in today's time is language proficiency, the art of writing correctly, the art of speaking correctly. It's very important. Shabana, just a small thing I should say. Introduce yourself and people say, I am Anjan Choudhury, or somebody says, myself Anjan Choudhury. Now, myself Anjan Choudhury, anybody and everybody saying, people won't mind, but the teacher in the college platform using myself, that's a wrong parlance. Then the acceptability is under a question mark. Students won't accept you. Because today's students has got a lot of different ways of learning. Even if a teacher doesn't go to the class, he'll learn. They've got ways. If I do not teach a particular subject, still a child will get first class marks. So you relax. We have to learn ourselves a lot. I think that much is important.
Yes, sir. True, very true, sir. So, sir, in this generation where students are actually very smarter, because in our classrooms as well, we come across students who are very smarter. So, at times I do feel that even if I'm not there, they'll be able to handle things well. So, sir, isn't it a challenge for every teacher now?
No, let us replace the word with not challenge, but let's open up for doors of development. Doors of development. Students were smarter since times immemorial because they are young, and teachers are way more smarter than the students because they are guardians. The moment a teacher today reforms himself from just a teacher to like a father figure, or like an elder brother, or like a mother, or like an elder sister, you will own the child. The moment you own the child, you will love the child. So you don't need to know it as a challenge anymore. We have used this word called challenge because we cannot have the capacity of owning 50 children in my batch. Own them. Love them, handle them like it's your property, so that after the 6th semester they go out, they would contribute your knowledge outside. So that is where the power of a teacher lies. Otherwise, what challenges? It's about love. It's about, when teachers used to speak to us, anybody not interested in my class, please get out. We never got out. Why do students get out today? Because of absence of love. And when teachers used to shout at us, the next moment when the class bells are over, he will call and say, Kyo kori thako ei bostu bor? Iman moram koru tothapiyo bandrami na jay. Ei je languages that we use were like fathers, were like mothers. So we loved them. And now also my college teacher calls me up, my school teacher calls me up. I cannot sit and take the call. I get up. My family member says, he's not looking at you. Why do you stand up? Because we can't have that psychological constitution of sitting and talking to a teacher. That has come up from not the most heroic teachers. Then our teachers are much more equipped today. So why will it not happen? I think in the long run, it's all about manufacturing good human beings out of the classrooms. That is more important, irrespective of the marks. I think that is there.
So, coming to the education system, so there are visible shifts in the education system today, and with the NEP 2020 coming up, so there are a lot of changes into the education scenario. So, sir, what positive changes have you observed with the changes coming in, and what might be the struggles that you think, sir, can come?
No, that cannot be a very right question, Shabana, because with the advent of NEP 2020, the visible changes are not there right now. It will take time. It's an evolutionary process. NEP's way of hand-holding the entire academic system, if somebody asks us a question right now, like it's 5 years the NEP has come, or even 4 years the NEP has come, what changes have you seen? Now, it's all now we have started to work. All the policies has been amended, and gradually we are see the 4th year of graduation which has come right now. It is there right now. We haven't yet started. This could be the first batch. Now again, the fourth year can also have a lateral exit at the 3 year, provided if it's a research based education. Then we have masters of 1 year. It all depends as and how the evolution is seen and observed. It's an evolutionary transformative phase. Right now it's too very early, but we are very, very hopeful that a very positive amount of changes will come. Because you see, when you don't talk, let's not talk about NEP, let's talk about the basic guidelines today we have. They say you have to handhold the child in the classroom with collaborative learning, introspective learning, implementative learning. These are words which has come up. Now for collaborative learning, it's always not a group study. For integrated learning, it's not about, a massive amount of semesters that needs to be ended in a module of 10 semesters or 12 semesters. No, it is also about conceptual learning. See, today, if you talk about my generation, there were students, we used to ask, sir, please give us important questions. Today, the children doesn't ask important questions. The reasons are not that the children are much more smarter. The syllabus has become lesser. It's a 6 months semester now. We come from graduation where we had done 2 years of graduation and part 1 was cleared. And the third year was part 2. So the massive amount of pressure used to be there with us. So education was like a nightmare for us. But today children go happily to the colleges. They enjoy canteens. They have huge, beautiful life. I think a proper guidance in the semester basics of education, more and more intrinsic reinforcement of the academics will be injected. That is done after some time. That will be seen after some time. Perhaps right now it's too early a question. We will not be able to answer this question right now. But in the long run, we are very hopeful. Huge transformation is going to come.
Coming to the education scenario in Assam and Northeast, what are your views? Like how are we competent with the rest of the nation?
Very competent, very, very competent, but not about Northeast. Let us talk about Assam. Okay. It could be a prejudice or a partiality because I am from Assam and I have got the highest amount of respect and space from Assam. But not because that I'm biased or I'm partial, but I have been traveling across India. I have seen one thing which is very predominant in Assam is that there are senior most faculties around 30 years of experience. 30 years of experience. They also come and sit inside a faculty development program and they say, sir, we don't want APIs, we don't want academic performance index, we want to learn from you. There are teachers that I have come across in Assam, specifically in Assam, who has attended my same workshop, same module for 3 times, 4 times. This is there. But when you talk of entire country along with Assam, perhaps a senior most person who has reached the associateship, who does not require the indexes of academic performance indexes, they are like, हमको तो ये करके फायदा नहीं होगा because ये हमारा number add नहीं करेगा. But in Assam it is not there. I will not be able to name it out here. There are so many government colleges, the reputed government colleges of Guwahati, where there are audiences of 35-40 veteran faculties who do not require an API. They come and sit in a teacher's progression program. Assam is immense, powerful in learning. That is what I have to say. But again, Assam, what I have seen in higher education, they are a little looking for veteran teachers, we need to handhold them through IT modules. IT is something where Assam is perhaps a little lagging behind in classroom delivery. Otherwise, if you talk about a psychological architecture of an Assam professor along with somebody else, I think Assam is still ruling out on, it's wonderful. They are doing. The eagerness to learn is more as compared with other parts of the country. I have to tell you that.
So, sir, apart from the IT improvements that we need, so, sir, what do you think are the other areas where we do need improvements?
Massive, big question. Shabana has put me a question of an ocean, like huge, because you see the UGC net process based on which the NTA makes everything at par with the cutoff, and also that the quality of the teachers are across the country, the quality is all the same. That is there. But when you talk about it's like a Bollywood film star, the stories and the scripts are given. How do you enact and take the role out on the screen is something which is very different. See, I am an English professor, she is an English professor. We are equally, competent. We have equal publishing, we are equally qualified, everything equal. But then she is more accepted in the system than me. Why? So there is the psychological architecture where I have used about beautiful ways of self-development. When you talk of beautiful ways of self-development, there are a lot of things that can come. It's not about IT now. Let's talk about ideating ideas of making classroom more interesting by involving gamification. Now, gamification is involving games and activities in higher education, which you and I will not be able to conceptualize. So there are companies, there are organizations who designs gamification and provides higher education. These factors are there. Let us give a small example of anti-sexual harassment cell of a particular college or anti-ragging cell of a particular college, which is there, and they all wait for no offenses happening, so they are all also happy that nothing happens. But there is a different institution. They are not waiting for offenses. They are working for anti-sexual areas. They are working for anti-ragging areas. So these are creative dynamisms of workspace environment that even a child induces, or even a child how do I put it, even a child transforms the concepts of these banners. That is why we need a lot of modern techniques and approach to handhold the new generation students. We cannot see, I'll tell you, many years ago when we did projects by hand. We had handwritten projects, but today children does it taking a printout. So while a printout comes in, the child does not register in the mind what has been written there. The teachers also knows computerized documents, so they also have a set pattern of marking imanedim. So the idea of what has had happened in the project, the child does not know. There is no cross questioning the way how we had. And have you seen, Shabana, I am not very sure whether would you agree with me or not, children do not question a lot in the classrooms.
Yes.
Why? What is the reason? Like we had several questions. Bhoot kene kwa ke hoy? Bhagavan khasake ahe niki? Bhagavan ahile bhagavan jai kot? Ghor kot? There are a lot of questions which was there. I was so dumb. I used to ask, a bhoot movie, horror movies jot horay dekha goise bhoote boga kapur pinise. Boga kapur dhue kune. So these were the relevant and irrelevant questions as child we had. But our children, do you think they are more matured, or do you think their curiosity skills are not there? Which one? There is a new generation concept when people say our present generation children are much more mature. I find them very dumb, very dumb, because they don't play footballs, they don't ride bicycles and fall down and bruise their knees, so they don't have childhood. The other day, a boy, I think he was in the 4th or the 5th standard, buying mangoes. He's looking at a mango tree. He said, "Oh, aam gosut lage." So the father was telling to kot lage. So there is this big difference which has come up because the childhood is disconnected. Mobile devices are a very intelligent piece, not for academic development. So I think teachers has to play that role more. Students needs to be compelled to come to the teachers with questions, developing of the curiosity. So students don't ask question. Students don't have curiosity. It's not the students' problem. It's not about internet. It's also about the teachers' problem, who do not have the aura or the radiance to tell them, I am there with all knowledge. Come and ask me. I have an answer to everything. Hey, attitude to dekha na jai. That is one reason why they don't come up. So that has to be worked out.
So, sir, the another reason maybe what I feel inside the classrooms is if I have a question, so now I have Google, I have ChatGPT. Let's go back home. Instead of showing that I'm not smart or I don't have the guts, I don't have the intelligence, let me do it on my own. So that is also an attitude, sir, because of which the questionings have come down.
Probably parallelly, I'll also blame the teachers for the same. Why? Because you see, Google and ChatGPT are very algorithm based. Whatever you ask and whatever they answer, always it is going to be to the point, and right is no guarantee. Now, while you see, I'll tell you, perhaps very bad to say, I've also seen teachers not reading journals or reading reference books, but then referring to ChatGPTs and Googles. Teachers speaking out things which many students says, this is a Google ditto page that has been done. So these are also reasons, both ways. Yes. I would not blame always the children. The teachers has to be there. Why are libraries so vacant these days?
Exactly.
Why do people not go to libraries? Okay, let's make it much more simpler. Why are less newspapers coming down to people's homes? We had a mandate of reading newspapers in the early morning before going to school, the headlines. So the pronunciations would be louder, things which are happening around would come down to our brains. This is not there. People has got e-factors now, e-papers and e-books. How much has been the subscription of the e-magazines and the e-books in colleges? That also has to be undertaken. So that is somehow we have to promote.
Yes, sir. Yes, so that is true, sir. Even I felt the need of going to the library, because as a student, I come from an ICSE board and we are encouraged to read books. So we do not have a set of ready-made questions that these will be the questions will be asked.
Correct.
So it was like you have to read the entire book,
Correct.
entire chapter. So
Correct.
we had like our school, the teachers, they made this habit of reading the book. So even till today, I need a book. I need a proper book. I cannot read on the mobile screen or the pad screen. So that is very difficult, sir.
Correct.
But now we don't get a proper library. Now we have those facilities. But then when I was in my master's, I was looking for a space, basically a library, to go and to get books and to read. So that was a challenge I did face.
I went to Pan Bazaar the other day to buy the dictionary things, that Webster dictionary and all. The person says, "Ajikali bo stock out nahi, manun ni bisare." So can you understand how much dilated we are from the correct track? And one thing that I should also want to speak to the viewers, the conventional method was the right thing. NEP speaks of conventional methodism. We are again coming back to the roots. See the wonderful thing that I was talking to her just before the program on Vedic mathematics.
Yes.
It should have been a part in schools. These are so interesting things of, brain development, but we have overlooked it. We are coming back to the basics, and basics are the one with which we will survive. Not with what ever has it happened and has it transformed. And rather, I should tell you, this is not transformation. We are again going back to the way of how we'll connect to the roots.
Yes, sir. So, and that is very interesting,
Yes.
sir, because again, we are going back to those techniques and methods. Like we have a wing that is Brain Gym. What I do there is, we used to play the indoor games
Yes.
earlier. Now the concept of indoor games is, it's not there. People move out to the malls and everywhere the kids, they go and play and they entertain. But the thing of indoor games where we used to learn, we had the Ludo, counting was there. So we were using our brains, but sir, now that thing is not there actually.
Correct. Very correct. Right now you spoke about storytelling.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you see, I have been a very highly acclaimed teacher and trainer in higher education. People have said that. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I have got an art of storytelling. That's the reason I can speak for hours and hours. Now what happens is, even in a physics class or even in a chemistry class, the teacher should be knowing the art of storytelling patterns of taking the classes. The breath, the way how you monitor your breaths, the voice modulation, the non-verbal communication, your oculesics, your proxemics, your facial gestures. You say these are not required in a physics class. You say these are not required in a chemistry class. You say these are not required in a history class. Who says it? Who says? And within a span of 1 hour time in a class of higher education, you are conceptualizing a chapter, and the child who has come through Samarth portal or CUET does not get a subject of his own choice. He is like default, he is there in your classes. And then he has to look at you, and he doesn't like you. And he doesn't like the subject. Or har baat pe haan bhi milayega. Understood? Yes, he has to say that also. Not possible. There has to be drama.
Yes.
Otherwise things doesn't work out. And we say 20% is the subject knowledge that you carry. Remaining 80% what you do in the classroom is drama. The most successful people, teachers, are those who can do that. Remaining people are employees. They retire at the age of 58 and 60, but are not remembered as profound teachers. That I can guarantee and I can say.
So even today I remember, history is a subject most people hate.
Correct.
So my favorite subject was history, and I used to study history like anything. I would avoid subjects like science, and history was one of my favorite. It was because of the teacher. If I say,
Correct.
all the credit goes to her, Rashmi ma'am. So she was my teacher, like my history teacher at Kamal School back then. And even till today, she is teaching history. It's because the way she presents history in a way, it's like a story.
Correct.
So story, even then it attracted, and even now, sir, I see that with my students, because now I use storytelling as a major component of my teaching. students are attracted and interested, they become interested towards that particular subject.
And viewers should understand what Shabana speaks right now. She says about only one thing, that if a student likes you, then only he likes the
Yes.
subject, and
Yes.
then only she or he masters the subject. A student doesn't like you, he has the qualities inside him for that particular subject, still he'll not be able to excel in that subject. That's a very, very important thing that you should understand. A child as in a student who likes you will always like your subject. That's a thumb rule of basic reinforcement of academics. That is correct.
Yes,
I
sir.
totally agree with you.
Very true. So it's basically the responsibility of the teacher. We cannot say a student is not good in this particular subject. It is my responsibility, I feel, that I should hold on the interest level of
That's
that
what I said you, because the teacher who's qualified is UGC net and comes down getting an employment, there are hundreds who will come through. And from your organization, you will have 15 students coming out, 25 students coming out as a success ratio. But when they join a system, why are people different? Why is it that one child approaches a different teacher in a department and has a repulsion for a different teacher of the same department? Why? It has to be persona, it has to be capacity, it has to be life skills, it has to be a blend of all those things that manufactures a person's personality. That is for sure. That is correct. That is correct.
So, given the present landscape in the education sector, sir, we can talk a little bit about UGC NET as a competitive exam. So what do you think, institute like us? So, is there any importance of institutes like us in this scenario?
Of course, yes. But if had it been some years ago, I would have said no. But now with the changing scenario, we see every year the cutoff will change. As in how the marks varies, every year the cutoff percentage would change. This is one. And the second is the question pattern. NT, when you talk about National Testing Agency, they are non-biased people. They are like, at par everybody. Anybody from Haryana, anybody from Ahom, anybody from Rongia, anybody from Nalbari, they has to be at par, irrespective of the percentage of marks they have carried. Now to crack that, should I say, a decibel level performance, one person, Ajit Tarikot, I think they should be into training houses, coaching houses, where they have an access towards not only the question paper format, which is available in the internet, but also about the way of how it is being done, the time frame. See, I still remember, I think it's still there right now. You can correct me if it is wrong. There are 300 marks questions,
yes.
100 and 200. In 100 marks, you have 50 questions. In 200 marks, you have 100 questions.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So now, people should know. Supposedly, I know more questions than I could attempt. So the part 1, part A, part B, part C, they would take up the first 15 or the first 35 or the first 25. These things comes in coaching houses. That is why I strongly believe in today's, the common papers, the reasoning and all those things that you have, irrespective of humanities and physics and science and whatever, they require hand holding. I think institutional advantage creates a lot amount of process, because from masters first semester onwards you can start appearing for NET, so you have time. So apart from wasting the attempts, if you come through an academy which handholds you and let you know and make you aware about how the plunge should be, how your spree should be into attempting the questions, I think we are much more safer, and we will be we will be not terminating and killing unnecessary attempts just like that. I think that is a fantastic thing that you have asked me. Yes, they require grooming today. That is absolutely there.
Thank you for your answer, sir. So at BoostABrain, apart from coaching and mentoring in terms of the exam, we also try our best, to help them out in developing their skills. Actually, we have the students, they come up with their stories. So that's how the classes goes on, because I feel it's not what you learn, it is how you are going to apply it.
Correct.
After you go through the entire process.
And Shabana, one small thing that I should also like to add, since you have a holistic approach, I could see the way how you have been hand-holding. See, I have always not used the word mentoring. It's about hand-holding. Please understand, future teachers, future educators, including people like them who are enhancing and augmenting the crowd and the tribe of educators in our country. See, it's very important that you need to know your skill sets. And when I talk about skill sets, I'm also talking about the quotients required. We have IQ. So everybody who has cleared out UGC NET and who comes here has no question mark in your IQ. And I should tell you, to survive in any scenario, in any profession, very importantly in higher education, education, IQ is not enough. Then I think, the second component starts. Let us also work out on our social quotient, the SQ. Let us work intricately on our EQ, emotional quotient. What is emotional quotient? The ability to handle people carefully, the ability to live peacefully and harmoniously with people around you. These are skill sets that we would require. And most importantly, Shabana, I should tell you, we should also require future educators to be educating themselves on AQ, which is called adversity quotient. How do you take the challenges of everyday life and do not give up? Be resilient more than having withdrawal symptoms. Go down to a hospital and check back the suicidal statistics. What has happened? What is the reason of the suicide? The boyfriend and the girlfriend broke up, or my attempt in the examination was not, I could not succeed. 5th semester to 6th semester, there was a back. That's the reason the suicide happened. Do you think we are in a very healthy, organized setup of society? I think organizations like you, if you have called me, I will try to give a message. We need to work out on adversity quotient also. It's not important to crack UGC net. It is also important to handhold the community of the fraternity of the students where you enter with the promise to make a better nation. That is required, and for that we can't be blaming children. No pore kele, because you are boring. That's the reason he no pore. You have to understand that. Hodai etu hoy, I don't know, but maximum homoy etu to hoy. Shirt to bahirot. Dekhibole beya, dekhibole bhalor kotha koa nai, then I would not have been in the frame at all. There has to be somebody who has to appear like a teacher. You have to have that aura and the radiance that a person is compelled to go up to you with questions. That has to be one thing. That is what I wanted to say. So with the generation that we are on with chat GPTs and artificial intelligence, a teacher needs to be way more important than them, so that they should be reflecting themselves as more sources of information. Only then children will come up to them. Otherwise, the absolute dependence on artificial intelligence of present generation students is not very, very wise. That I'll not suggest.
So coming to the end of this podcast, so to wrap it up, sir, I want you to share one golden piece of advice for the next generation educators.
You should be planning to become an educator. Do not plan to become a employee. Mota employment lage, for which UGC net should not be the idea. I go down to audiences now also in teachers of higher education who says we get paid vacations, we have autonomy in the profession. That's the reason I am here. I think these are wrong concepts. If the question is of metamorphosis, the phenomenal transformation from one level to a future profession, I think that's the catch that I should tell. Do not plan to become a teacher as an employment. Become a teacher or an educator if you have the capacity and the capability, or at least the heart or the desire to transform. Better human beings are required in societies today. We are having shortage of good human beings in the planet today. If you see, I have less amount of time, but they would have less amount of time. You will see people have started living in Facebooks and Instagrams today. Everybody is a celebrity. People do not know a basic piece of a mobile phone or a t-shirt or a sari. If somebody buys, the information has to be shared on the Facebook. So I think we are on a generation which is getting into wrong hands. We need educators who needs to educate everybody to come back and become good human beings. I think that's what is one that makes an educator class apart. Beyond that, we have various professions. You can join down anywhere, but not a teacher. That I should never say.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words and your time, sir.
Thank you very, very much.
I'm very glad that on just one request, you came here and you shared your valuable words with our audience. It's an honor to have you here, sir.
And wishing you all the very best of luck to all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.